Well, let's I actually didn't really watch much Raw this week. Maybe
You
we
checked out
can.
the preview that I sent you, and that's probably why you didn't, because it looked awful.
Yeah, that's what you were saying. It looks awful.
It was absolutely awful. It was a joke, a travesty. 2 weeks before WrestleMania, and that's what they put on. What's going on, Jesse? Like this is a like first of all, SmackDown is so much better than Raw. WrestleMania looks terrible. And I didn't think Raw could be worse than it was. What was it, 2 weeks ago? Well, this is the worst Raw I've ever seen in my entire life. I watched the whole thing in 30 minutes.
Wow, that's not a stretch. You think this is the worst Raw you've seen in your entire
It
life?
has to be up there. Like this whole era where they don't
I
have
guess
to build.
maybe for timing, because it's right before WrestleMania. It's not like this is a Raw in June or May, some random time of year where there's not like a huge PLE happening. This is right around the corner from WrestleMania, and this is the Raw that they hit us with. So I guess that's what you're upset about.
I guess, yeah. And it just like it's hard not to be upset when you're watching it and they're just showcasing WrestleMania the entire time, and the entire card is just awful.
Mhm.
I've never been less excited for a WrestleMania in my life, and I can go on record and say that there's only one WrestleMania feels match, and that's Cena versus Cody. Everything else is just a whatever match. They've like so. I mean, I watched SmackDown. SmackDown was good. Like, get the first hour was good, the middle sucked, and the last hour was good. But for a fast forward version, like we're in the modern era of wrestling where you have to fast forward most of it.
Yeah.
It was good. It was watchable. Raw is getting to the point where I think we should start reviewing SmackDown because like it's terrible. Raw is terrible now every week.
Yeah, I was actually surprised. I haven't watched SmackDown forever until this last Friday that happened, and I enjoyed the majority of the show.
Same.
Even some of the parts that I'm sure people didn't enjoy, I was drawn into it maybe for other reasons too. For example, I guess the Charlotte and Tiffany thing.
Going off script supposedly.
Yeah, I was like, what is going on here? To me, the segment felt so awkward. And it felt like I was watching, I don't know, some trash TV, Love is Blind type series or
Mhm.
something. And that's what like the dialogue sounded like. It was just so bad. But I was interested because I'm like, did they write this? Why would they write something so bad? And yeah, I don't know. That match is going to be an interesting one. But anywho, I
Just
like SmackDown.
everything. The all the Punk's involvement. He was in the beginning and the end were both great. The last man standing match was awesome with Fatu and with Strowman. Even LA Knight was able to get a match out of Tonga. So like I don't know. I just felt like overall the whole show just had a totally different vibe. Like it regular wrestling. There's something going on with Raw that it's just this whole Netflix era has been the worst. I think.
Yeah.
Since it Raw moved to Netflix, it sucks, frankly. Like last night
Interesting.
was like a perfect example.
I thought, I thought that Raw would be a flagship once again, to be honest, when they moved to Netflix. But it sort of seems like the opposite is happening. It seems like they're putting so much effort into SmackDown and not into Raw. And I wonder internally what the teams look like. It's got to be separate writing teams still, right? But there's so much
Yeah.
crossover, which makes it weird too, because there's people going from Raw to SmackDown, SmackDown to Raw, that sort of thing. So how do you keep that consistent if you have two different writing teams?
Maybe it's just entitled to two different teams.
Yeah,
Like
maybe.
I don't know. And maybe other people think Raw is good and it's just us. Like I have to constantly remind myself that like all these things I'm complaining about, everyone today seems to like. I guess I'm just a product of a different generation of wrestling fan. One that was like interested in the stars and interested in stories and not just like pitting together random combinations and saying this is now a match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I don't think I fall on the scale of disliking Raw as much as you do, but I will say this, SmackDown is a much more cohesive and entertaining show.
Agreed. I'll say this, okay? Like I sent you the preview. We were both in shock. We were just like, this is what the card is. That they at least added Punk and Heyman to the card.
Yeah.
And I just frankly I didn't want to watch Raw last. It was a chore to
Yeah.
watch Raw last night, and I didn't watch it. I ended up watching it this morning. I was up incredibly early at like 5 a.m. So I was like, I'll watch it. And it did not take me very long to get through it all. It's so much of it is fast forwardable, not just like the endless like crowd shots and entrances and commercials about nothing. There's just, there's like no content whatsoever. And so like I don't know, I can even just go through, like I can rip through what I was watching. Like
Okay.
you immediately get to it, and there's just once again Io Sky, Adam Pierce, Rhea and Bianca in the ring doing the same segment they've done 8 times. We already know that it's going to be a triple threat match, and they're just
Yeah.
talking in the ring for that match to be announced. Was the entire beginning of Raw. Besides the fact that Bianca got a little bit over with me with her mic skills, and I'm starting to like her more, and like it just pissed me off more that we're not getting Bianca and Rhea. And then they just immediately jump to some like pointless additional women's match, just like back to back
Hold
women's
on, hold
match.
on. I'll say this about the that first segment because I did briefly fast forward through it. The Io Sky missile drop kick to the back of Rhea. She
Uh-huh.
laid it in a little more than she has in the past. So maybe she saw your YouTube short talking about.
I saw Rhea's head really connected with Bianca. Like
Yeah, so
it looked like it hurt a little bit.
I wonder if like Rhea and Bianca maybe had a conversation with her too, where they're saying, "Hey, lay it in, make it look good this time," and maybe Io Sky's like, "All right," and just nailed that missile drop kick because it looked good. I'll give her
Yes,
that.
I'll give her that. That did look good. I agree. So I mean, just yeah, and then they jumped into another women's match with Bailey and I don't even know who for a title no one's ever heard of. The women's intercontinental. It's just like, what is this? Fast forward to a 6-man luchador match after that.
A grande americano.
I know that you liked him. I watched the
I
ending. Listen,
wasn't interested.
I
Yeah,
watched the ending. I did like what they did with the steel and his mask, and that's his new gimmick. But you got to get away from like, who are all these jobbers and these? So I guess it's him and Ray at WrestleMania, which is like okay, and like I could get behind if it was like a traditional WrestleMania, maybe like an opening match. But just I mean, like it was just just awful. All of this is just unwatchable. You didn't even need to see any of it. And we're at an hour and 15 minutes before any stars even appear besides Rhea and Bianca, and it was Jay and Gunther. And Jay and Gunther had just like, I don't know, it was a super weird segment. And it was just like Jay telling Gunther that he's got to talk to his mom. There's no moms in wrestling. And that he was afraid of Gunther. And Gunther just like stayed quiet the entire time. Like this was, he's now scared of Jay because Jay's so fired up. I just like, I hate this rivalry. And then constantly cutting to Pat McAfee afterwards doing the stupid eating thing. I'm so over Jey Uso and I'm so over all of this. And I hated this segment too. It's just another match I don't want to see. They've already wrecked Rhea and Bianca. They're now wrecking Gunther's match as well. It's just super frustrating. I didn't
I
like
wonder.
any of this content.
I wonder when the backlash for Jey Uso starts because they are shoving him down our throats. And previously, when this company has shoved people down our throats, crowds react negatively to that. I wonder if that's going to happen with Jay in the next couple of months. People are just sick of it. He starts getting the go away heat that other stars in the past have had.
I don't think so because I think that you and I are different, especially me. We're old school fans. They seem to like this. Like they like EO Sky. Like they cheer for EO Sky. They seem to be jacked up for tag team title matches and women's intercontinental title matches. Like it's like they are okay with these things being like main events. I'm just like it's they're just okay being fed scraps. Like they don't even know what it was like to see a Raw that had Mankind, Austin, and The Rock and Undertaker and crazy matches. Like those felt like they were all pay-per-views.
Yeah.
So it was just so rough. And then they go into this tag match, the War Raiders and the New Day, and you're so right about the War Raiders outfits. They looked ridiculous. Like I thought that I was looking at two guys wrestling in a high school gym.
Yeah. It's, they just they don't look like wrestlers. I don't know what it looks like. It's just weird. I think it's weird when people try to be something they're not. Like nobody on planet Earth is a Viking. Nobody. They don't exist anymore. And I'm sure they didn't wear underwear with like just one little piece of underwear with like a belt around them. No, no Viking ever wore that because it was freezing cold where they were. I don't know. I just think it's so cosplay weird. Just dress like a normal person or a normal wrestler. Get put some pants on.
Agreed. Fat people shouldn't be wearing like the miniature tights. Like they should at least have like the imagine KO like Kevin Owens was wearing pants like that. It would be ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, and these guys like bring some of your like real life persona into it to make us interested in your character. And it's because you're not an actor. You can't pretend to be a Viking and actually pull off like, doing a good job of that. So be yourself. And just as Stone Cold Steve Austin, all the other guys say, just turn it up to 11. Just crank it. Be that version of you because that's what we'll get over with the fans. And these guys just aren't doing that. And it's just weird to watch. Like maybe other people like it. I don't know. Maybe you and I are in the minority on this one too, but they need to change their personas. I think this Viking thing is so weird. And this tag team division just seems so jobberish. There's no,
It's awful.
yeah.
And the
I don't care
DQ
about the
ending
tag
now,
team.
so what these guys are gonna have a WrestleMania rematch, and
Oh,
like we're supposed to care that the New Day beat them down. It's yeah, like I wrote exactly what you said. Like this Mania is gonna be like a lot of fast forwarding. Like it doesn't look different than any other PLE right now, and it's like basically only Cena and Cody feel special. Like even the main event, like they've managed to ruin Reigns and Punk too, which is just the whole thing's crazy.
and now
I'm
KO and
just
Orton aren't on the show anymore.
I know
That's
there's no
huge.
good matches. There's no good matches. Right now, I'm looking forward to LA Knight and Jacob Fatu, Logan
Yeah.
Paul and AJ Styles, and Cena and Cody, and honestly, nothing else. And then we'll get to the main event segment, but like it also just like is ruining the triple threat for me, which I just don't care about at all. I almost like it. This reminds me, we started doing this podcast for fun, but it's also now reminding me why I stopped wrestling because it's so stupid. And this isn't any better than when Vince McMahon was booking it. It's arguably worse. Ever since they turned into the new year and they switched to Netflix, these stupid feuds that Triple H is pushing and just not ending everything triple threat match, fatal four way match, like just inclusion of everybody and everything. I mean, it's stupid. There's no feuds. Like you're saying to me that Braun and Finn and Ray and Penta is a feud? Like what is that? It's nothing. It's not it's just a match. They're like here's a bunch of shiny objects. Like all the fans just have shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
I did like the only actual match that technically I watched was Dom and Penta. And the Dom was getting chants like they were chanting for Dom. That was
Mm,
pissing me off. It's just like this is supposed to be the biggest heel. Like everyone actually like he had go away heat when he was face. And
yeah.
that's when I found out they had made it into a four-way at Mania. And I was just like
Same. Yeah.
I
I
was just
didn't
like
know they did
I'm
that.
pissed about this.
But I
Yeah,
called that. I called that,
you
remember?
did.
They're missing the stipulation, but I still think there's time that they add that in. I think that could be added in.
What will?
The ladder match. I called it a fatal four-way ladder match.
Right.
I think they might add that stipulation in somehow.
Someone like Braun doesn't really. Yeah, I'm sure they will. I mean that was a good match, Dom and Penta, but like nothing really stood out from it. And like I was thinking, I was just like listening to this, just like these modern WWE crowds. Like, I don't know what's happened if they've priced out the real fans or what's going on, but like they're just making whatever WWE puts on successful. And it's like wrestling's changed so much. And it's not like this ruthless crowds that it used to be. You just put on anything, like they could take a shit in the middle of the ring and the crowd would be going crazy.
Well, to be fair, I think the crowd is exclusively Netflix personalities now. That's all they seem to pan to. Whenever
And the
there's crowd
audience, like
shots.
cross promoting everything.
Yeah.
And like they had like so it was like 17 minutes left until the main event was gonna start. I had it paused because I was watching after it was live. And I was like, well, Seth is gonna come out and that's gonna be another 3 to 5 minutes. And like I'm trying to think about it because like I'm not this is not anti-Seth because I do this every week. But like it's like Rollins being in Punk and Roman is like if you put Scott Hall in a triple threat match with The Rock and Hogan at WrestleMania 13, or you put Jake the Snake in with Andre and Hogan at um WrestleMania 3, or even if Ken Shamrock wasn't the ref, and he was in with Brett and Austin at 13. Like, it just doesn't fit. And I know that I sound like a broken record, but like I could have dealt with everything else that they were doing if it was Punk Roman with the Paul Heyman feud, and that was the second main event. And it's nothing like I like Seth enough that he could be in whatever. He could be in a triple threat with Jay and Gunther. His role in this triple threat match is the main problem I have with WrestleMania. It makes no sense. Story makes no sense for him to be involved, and it's just ruining what should be an amazing match of the year.
Yeah,
And
they
and
should
then
have.
him and Paul, they didn't say anything. Like, nothing was exchanged between them. Like, there's no information. Like, it was just a bullshit back and forth between the two of them. It was just like, how can we waste time? They just, I don't know. They've completely fumbled the build all the way from the Royal Rumble straight to now. And like, there's nothing you can do about it. Like, it's just like, we just have to endure this because everyone's going to watch it. The crowd's going to be pumped and they're going to be so excited if Seth wins a triple threat and Io Sky retains the title. And it's just awful. It's just awful.
You're right. This Mania would have been so much better. It would have looked so much better if the main event was Punk and Reigns, and that's it. I don't know why they always feel the need to just put people in spots. It's like they almost felt guilty and had to put Seth in a main event spot for some reason.
I'm wondering if that's the case. Like, did Seth insist on it?
I don't know, but it doesn't make sense and it's not a good match. It's a match, it waters it down. It would have been like, I don't know, maybe you could look at it technically and you could be like, all right, putting Seth in there, he's like the best workhorse out of everybody, is going to bring out a really good match. But it's WrestleMania. It doesn't need like a million moves. It needs like psychology and a big arena feel and interest in limited number of characters. We have interest in Reigns and Punk, and you can tell a better story with just two people. You don't need all these characters. I
I
just
know. And so, and then like I got to the point where I couldn't even listen to Seth carry on anymore. He just says the same things over and over again. And so like I just fast forwarded and there's like 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in the show, and there's still no Punk. And now it's just like, oh no, you owe me a favor, Seth says to Paul. Like, it's not making the story more interesting. It's making it way, way worse. And then I just wrote at the end of this, I go, this Raw sucks, WrestleMania sucks, WWE sucks. And like I'm just like, we started doing this podcast, but like, and I guess this is what modern fans want. Like, I'm getting to the point where like I can't keep watching this. And I need to go back to just watching Punk and Roman segments on YouTube so that I don't get so agitated by it. Because like as a I guess a classic wrestling fan or a attitude era wrestling fan, like I'm insulted by this. And they're just like, oh, Triple H is such a good booker. Like, no, he's not. Like, this sucks. Like, these feuds, they all suck. And he said they have so many good wrestlers, and none of them are doing anything good. They're
yeah.
ruining Braun. They're ruining Drew McIntyre. They're ruining Rhea Ripley. It's just I've never seen anything quite like it. Like I'm just it's just like, well, we'll just put together the worst matches possible. We'll just constantly tease these really big matches, but never deliver them. Not even at WrestleMania.
It's like they're afraid of going all in on just two people and like trying to, hedge their bets. Hey, if somebody gets injured, it'll just be a one-on-one match.
Like, now they're afraid of what would happen in Randy and Kevin is what would have happened if it was Roman and Punk.
I don't know. Like, what other? It's either that, like they're afraid of going all in on a one-on-one feud for some reason, or they owe like Seth a favor. I mean, it can't possibly be because yeah, I'm like that's the
A
real
real
thing.
life backstage favor.
Yeah, it can't possibly be because they think adding Seth into this feud is going to make it better. It can't possibly be because they think adding Io Sky into the triple threat is going to make it better. It can't possibly be because they think Braun going against three other wrestlers is going to be better than Braun going one-on-one with somebody. It must be like we have to just squeeze as many people into this card as possible.
Why? Why is that the case? Like it's this new era where it's just like we have to reward. So if that's the case, if you have to reward everybody with WrestleMania, then it's like WrestleMania is no longer the big card of the year. So then what is?
I wonder
How do we
what
just get one card with the best wrestlers fighting each other? Is that ever going to happen again?
I wonder if it's strategically done in a way to has something to do with like merch sales, maybe. Like, Finn sells a certain amount of merch, Dom sells a certain amount of merch, Braun sells a certain amount of merch. All right, so these guys have a significant market share of the WWE fan base. We need to get them involved in the match. If we get them involved in the match, that will mean that we'll get this many more views or this many more buys. Maybe it's like a analytical algorithm that they're doing now based on like eyeballs and how many eyeballs they can get to the product. And if they have less wrestling, they'll have less eyeballs, they think. I don't know.
Maybe, I
I'm
guess.
like, because,
But and so like also like where's The Rock? Like what
oh,
is
yes,
this?
yeah.
What is going on? Like I
He's not
hate
even announced for next week.
I hated that
He's,
he came back and then they just this back and forth, heel face, and then all right, we're gonna turn Cena heel, pair him with you, and be like, oh wow, this is wild. Okay, like let's see what happens, and then we just never see him again. Not even follow-up comments, not even a videotaped promo. Just nowhere to be found.
I don't understand. They don't announce him. He's not announced for anything. Is he going to be at Mania? Why?
Maybe he hasn't
Is
decided yet.
it's not even like they look. I know he has a busy schedule and stuff. So one of two things could have happened. Maybe he shouldn't have like committed to doing this, right? But maybe nobody has any say. Maybe Rock's board of directors, you know how it works. They just, all right, Rock wants this to happen. He wants to be in this, but he's not going to be here for 2 months. At least tell a backstory or something, or have, if he's going to be there at Elimination Chamber, film a couple of vignettes or something. I don't
Or have
know.
him do them from the road or something. Like he'd just be like, yeah, the final boss doesn't have time to show up and appease you fans. He shows up only when it
Something.
matters. Anything.
Exactly. Something. You got to, like this. It's like, they've stopped telling this story and they've just kind of shifted how it's all playing out now. It doesn't make any sense.
I've said this before, and like I can't believe I'm saying it because I hated the WWE under Vince, but like we all agreed that last year's WrestleMania was like amazing. Well, sort of. I really liked night two, and I thought night one was a huge bust, but whatever. Overall, it was really good. Like, but Triple H had just taken over creative around like the Royal Rumble. Is it possible that like all those feuds were already set, all those matches were already set, and that he just kind of like executed them, but now he's like getting together and making the matches, and like what he's doing that Vince didn't do is pairing stars. Like we said this a bunch of times. Like sure with Cena and Cody, and I guess Punk and Roman are paired through Seth, but like all of these guys that just aren't paired together, like everything it could be like I would love to see Seth and Gunther. Like that would be
Mm.
great. And if Braun is a face, like Braun and Jacob Fatu, like, there's so many options, and they're just insisting on pretending that these other people are, or at least I shouldn't say pretending. I guess I don't know. Like, do people have Damian Priest shirts? Like, are people chanting Damian Priest's name? Like, people buy Finn merch and they're like, yo, let's go Finn. Like, who or why? It's so confusing. The other guys, it's so obvious, like why they're so good. Their gimmick, their mic skills, their ability to do their ability to run matches. They're over like crazy, but
Yeah.
there's just the forced insertion, and it's not always like right. Like again, like I want to make sure to give Seth some credit. I think Seth is a really good wrestler. I think he's got a good gimmick. I do find his gimmick to be repetitive and annoying. I think he's got an appropriate place in the main event. I would have no problem with him being in in the world title match with Gunther for the title. That wouldn't bother me the slightest. I think he deserves something like that. I would think it would be annoying if Seth had to fight Damian Priest.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the
Sorry, go ahead.
place that they're putting him in is just not. It's just crazy. Like, what if Seth was in with Cena and Cody? It's just like what? It's so weird. It's so weird.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's unfinished business between Seth and Roman. I feel like the Punk and Seth feud ended in that cage match, and now it's kind of getting extended into this. They could have easily had Punk and Roman at Mania, and then maybe Seth and Roman at SummerSlam or something like
Yeah.
that.
Well, here's another theory. Are Punk and Roman, which I find hard to believe, are Punk and Roman unwilling to lose, and thus they were like, well, we'll include Seth because Seth is willing to lose because that's an easy out.
I doubt it, man. Punk seems like such a company guy right now. I feel like he would lose to Grande Americano if they asked him to.
If you told him a story of why it made sense. So I mean, in summary, I know we're doing a shorter one this week. In summary, I thought that Raw sucked. I think it sucks regularly. I don't look forward to watching it anymore. It's chore. I've started to enjoy watching SmackDown. I'm thinking that we should maybe consider switching to reviewing SmackDown versus Raw. Also gives us the whole weekend to like watch and review it.
Yeah,
And I think it's because it's so long that makes everything more skippable, but it also makes the good parts better. And honestly, I have WrestleMania both of the days written on my board. It's a Easter weekend, like my
yeah.
calendar. I'm taking them off because I'm not rearranging my night to watch this crap. It's a regular PLE. Like it doesn't make it like it doesn't. I don't care at all about any of it. The only thing I really want to watch live is Cena Cody because that's got a WrestleMania feel. Anything could happen. Will The Rock be there? Will Stone Cold be there? Who's gonna win? Like what's gonna happen? Other than that, it just doesn't matter. Well, pins Punk. What does that mean in the triple threat now? Like, it's just not the same. And so I don't know. I can't believe how unexcited I am for WrestleMania. This is the first time in a really long time that I've looked at the full WrestleMania card and just been like, this sucks top to bottom.
Well, they have three shows to change your mind. One Raw and two SmackDowns left.
And did you say that sorry, go ahead.
I was just sorry, this popped in my head. I'll ask you after. But
I was gonna say, did you say that there was already a preview for Raw out next week?
no, I don't know. I have no idea.
Or you mean he wasn't advertised for this upcoming Raw? The one we just
Yeah.
saw. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, with The Rock, yeah.
Yeah, and he's not. Yeah, and he's not advertised for the one coming out. Reigns is going to be on that show on Raw, the Go Home Raw.
They
But
advertised that on Raw that he will be. I
yeah, I
feel
think
like
it's not. Yeah,
everybody should be on all of it, at least in the last week, everybody. But again, like, do they need a lot of people to watch it? Like, do they care?
probably not. Right? People just watch WrestleMania for watching WrestleMania now. I don't even think they just care about the fireworks, the celebrity performance, halftime show
Yeah,
almost.
well, and they have Peacock, which is for the US audience, and then they have it on Netflix for the international audience. And I'm sure they don't share between Netflix and Peacock what the audience size of each is, so they just need to be moderately successful.
Yeah,
And it just seems there's like this it's like the modern fan, I don't know what happened to them, but like it's just like going to see a Cirque du Soleil. They're just like interested in these entrances and chanting along, and they just like it's like they're all high on mushrooms at Cirque du Soleil, and this is the greatest thing they've ever seen. It's just like go on Netflix and watch some historical WrestleManias. Like throw on WrestleMania 17, throw on WrestleMania 4, 5. Like honestly, even some that weren't even that long ago, like go back and look at like even like WrestleMania 30 and like that, and that was a triple threat with Daniel Bryan, and Randy Orton and all of that. So it's just so much better. Like they have stories.
yeah.
So yeah, it sucks, man. It's really disappointing to be a Attitude Era wrestling fan right now, in this reporter's opinion.
All right. Well, I guess that's all the Raw talk today. I did want to touch on a couple of things that I saw on SmackDown before we go that I thought were interesting. Ray Phoenix debuted.
I watched it, loved it.
Man, he's such an interesting.
He's cool. He's better than Penta.
He is his ring skills, just amazing stuff to watch. He runs the ropes like nobody. And we're talking about obvious cooperation. I like that his running the rope move. It's not like an obvious cooperation one because he just kicks the guy in the face while he's running the top rope. Like that's awesome. And
Yeah.
then his
That
like when he
that oh
gets
yes, I forgot about that. That was awesome. And looks so
yeah.
dangerous and crazy. He could have screwed it up so bad.
Yeah, even his intro, like when he comes into the ring and how he just drops down the second rope with the top rope between his legs, and you're like, and then he bounces back up. Like he just can bounce off those ropes like nobody else. He
I don't know if
is,
it was Wade or Joe, but they commented on it too. Be like, I think it was Wade maybe. He was like, he could get injured just doing that.
yeah,
And it's true. Like he's a spectacle, man. Like that's what I thought Penta would be like. Penta's okay. If this holds up, like he's sick. He's gonna be one of my new favorites. I'm not gonna skip past him.
Yeah, he's oh man, he's so cool to watch. Like I love watching him. I love the match. Like I don't know who that other guy was, but I feel like they put on a good match together, and I can't wait to see more Ray, man. And
Yeah,
I'm
he
glad
was
that
the
him and Penta,
NXT guy.
yeah, I'm glad that him and Penta are on different brands too. Not that that matters anymore, but like because what they normally do, they just like shove them together as a tag team right away or something. But I'm glad that they're not doing that. And they're letting Ray have his own run on SmackDown and then Penta have his own run. If they do team up in the future or whatever, that's fine. It's great. We'll see what the stories are for that. But
Nathan
just,
Frazier.
and
That's who he fought.
I hope they kind of, I hope they can squeeze in Ray Phoenix at WrestleMania somewhere because I'm sure that he would pull out all the stops and we'd see even more from him. Also, don't want to see him get injured because he does pull out all the stops. I watched a match with him back when I used to watch AEW where he like just did some top rope move and then his whole arm, like he bended it backwards and it went like this way, but the other way, like wrong way. It was, he
No.
dislocated his elbow. It looked so
Well, they're
gruesome.
pretty reckless in AEW. I think the producers would be pretty confident he'd be doing
Taken
most
care
things
of.
safely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Injury
yeah,
would be a very big accident, nothing that could like slip through the cracks.
for sure. And then so Kevin Owens coming out announcing that he can't do Mania. That's kind of a bummer. That was an
Yeah.
interesting match on the card. What do they do with Randy? He's got like 2 weeks now. He's got to have a Mania opponent. Who are they going to put him with?
Well, okay. Two things. I'm a constant complaint machine. I understand that. But just in the whole Kevin Owens thing, and then like Randy Orton sort of showing him respect, like it's my opinion is disrespectful to the wrestling fan. Like Randy Orton should have been fired up and celebrating that. And been like, you're lucky I didn't kick your head off. Like that's what you get. You put me on the shelf for 6 months. Oh, now you have to have neck surgery. And now he's just like all like disappointed, and then we're all supposed to be emotional for Kevin Owens. His character has been like wreaking havoc on WWE superstars, trying to permanently injure them. And now because he's injured in real life, we just forget about it. So it's just like I don't really care for that. If they're gonna bring him out there, you gotta at least keep him in a heel mode, keep the story consistent and keep us believing. It sucks that he's really hurt. That's not for us to do anything with in this current state. And I'm not sure what they're gonna do with Randy. I was wondering like I don't know where Sammy is in real life. I know that I guess he's missing Mania, or I don't know if he was planned to come back and cost Kevin Owens a match at Mania, but like can they bring him back next week on SmackDown? Because Orton says he's got no match, but there's still the slot, and Sammy comes out and just like
Well, that doesn't make sense though. Why would he fight in Kevin Owens' place when they just had
just
a
to have the
feud?
match. I don't know.
Man, I don't know.
Imagine what about Shane O'Mac? Here comes a.
And he'll tear something right away.
I don't know what they're gonna do with them. Like insert him in some other match and ruin it by make. Imagine they put him in with Logan Paul and AJ Styles or LA Knight and Jacob Fatu. I'd just be like, I do want to see him have a match. But like also like what happened to the days of not everyone needing a match? Like can't Randy Orton have a prominent spot on the card that's not a match? Like could he not I guess they've already got plans, but like he could be in Cody's corner. There could be an interview show that they do with him in the ring, and I don't know, like they've got to think of different ways to make things, unique. Like can't just be like all of these this series of matches that everyone's involved in the 6-man matches and
Yeah.
everything. Like get creative. He doesn't have to have a match. He can still be involved. Like, can he give a celebrity an RKO?
Maybe he'll
Like,
win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal Memorial.
do they still do that?
I'm just kidding. I hope not. Yeah, whatever happens to hitting up celebrities, why doesn't he just start? He should just attack all the Netflix celebrities.
RKO annoying Tony Hinchcliffe and tell him that he ruined Kill Tony for the real fans. Jesse and I are original Kill Tony fans back in the day when it was watchable. Now that show is just like the WWE. You just get big enough to a certain point that you just cater to the masses, and the masses are sheep and they just like anything, I guess.
Well, you know what was super funny? When he was talking on commentary towards the end of his little commentary segment, and they are like, "Okay, well, we'll see you later, Tony." And like 15 seconds goes by, and he starts talking again. They're like, "Okay, we'll see you later, Tony." It's like they were just like, "All right." You gotta go, man. It's like your time to go. But he has such a big ego that he thinks everything's about him.
His ego is out of control. What else did you want to talk about from SmackDown?
That well, I guess those are the main points. I mean, overall, I liked the show. I liked it, almost everything. Last Man Standing match was
This man
awesome.
standing match was awesome. It was awesome, man. That match could have been at WrestleMania, but with the stuff that they're showing now, like that was awesome that was on SmackDown. Like I would rather watch that than three-quarters of the card that they have. I've
Yeah,
been liking what Braun's been doing with him lately. Like I'm a little bit disappointed Braun's not on the card, to be honest.
yeah, man, he's huge. Like that's like he's a real terrifying monster, man, and he doesn't have a spot on there.
Former
God,
WWE champion.
like
Beat Goldberg at WrestleMania.
why don't they have him doing like anything special? Jeez, man, like I don't know, Drew McIntyre, or Braun Strowman instead of Damian Priest, something. I don't know.
Agreed.
But and then the Charlotte and Tiffany thing that was weird.
I didn't actually watch that. I read about it.
Yeah, I watched it. I had no idea who Tiffany was. Damn, she's squeaky.
Like her voice. I've
Yeah,
never even seen her.
yeah, it's weird, and Charlotte looks so different. Like, I don't wanna comment on people's appearances or whatever, um,
You are a
but
podcast host. You're allowed to.
we're allowed to. But I don't like, she didn't have any facial expressions. I wasn't sure if that was because of the work or because her acting's so bad, or if she wasn't acting. I don't know. It just was weird. Crowd was booing her, like, every time she tried to say something, which a lot of people milk and, rely on. Logan Paul, for example, will, like, pretend he's about to say something and wait for the crowd to boo.
Hmm.
And I think I don't know who's face and who's heel in this rivalry at all. But yeah, the going off the script, talking about like boyfriends and marriages and stuff was that's what apparently people are saying was off script. Are they going to beat the hell out of each other at WrestleMania? Are they
Hope
going to?
so.
Yeah.
Because maybe I'll go back and watch that segment because I need something else to get excited about.
Or
You know
maybe
what's
this is their way of like planting heat to make it look, make you interested in the match because nobody was before.
I feel like it's one of those things. Maybe they do like I'll come out. The writers will like give a segment, and then like just the talent will meet with like maybe they meet with Triple H a couple minutes before the match. He's like, yeah, do it. He's like, no one else,
Yeah.
and all the writers will think that you went against the script, and I'll pretend like I'm mad, and then I'll get in the dirt sheets, and it'll make everyone way more interested.
I was watching an interview with Kevin Owens, and he was talking about because his injury got a little bit leaked before
Hmm.
SmackDown,
Yeah,
and
I texted you that.
he was saying that he doesn't know. He was telling some of the, I guess, the executives. He's like, I don't think we should be telling other people about this because they're going to leak it, and they were assuring him, no, nobody's going to leak it. Nobody's going to leak it. So I guess word got out to the writing crew that he was injured, and then all of a sudden it's everywhere.
So they have a mole.
They have a mole, and I don't know, maybe they know they have a mole, and they use that to their advantage in a way with like even
Triple H is
this.
the mole.
Can you imagine? Yeah, it's a weird thing, weird business to be in.
Is WrestleMania gonna open up with Stephanie? Okay, Mary WrestleMania. Or maybe Linda McMahon will be in the ring and she'll be like, I've decided to leave Donald Trump's cabinet. After all of this chaos. There's okay. The two things. I just quickly talk about the main event segment of SmackDown, but also just in like trying to analyze all of my anger towards all of this. I realize now I think I'm just gonna get on board with John Cena. And I do hate the fans. And I hate all of this. And I hope he does win the title and then retires with it. And he is the last real wrestler. And I hope he just like ends the WWE. Uh, because like that's what he's saying is starting to resonate with me now. I'm starting to realize it. It's just like,
Yeah, but what are we gonna podcast about that?
do you like the Mets?
No.
Okay, but then I also like, besides the fact that I'm endlessly droning on about I don't understand Seth's inclusion. So he was talking a lot, but the whole thing with Punk's favor and the story behind why he's choosing Heyman to be in his corner and how Roman said that he wasn't allowed and said told Paul to tell him no, and then he's like, "I can't do that." That has a great makings if they were in a one-on-one match, and that was a great segment. Seth doesn't need to be there, had nothing to do with it, said nothing relevant to the story, but it was still a good part of it overall, and, like, Punk in Chicago is always awesome, and the Chicago crowd was awesome too, and, yeah, just overall, SmackDown felt like modern SmackDown had like a B plus. Can't give it an A because the full middle hour sucked. And Raw felt like a D. And WrestleMania looks like it's shaping up to be like a C minus.
You know what? For our ratings, we should have actually went with letters instead of numbers. Now I'm realizing for the sandbag rating, and D would actually be a good thing.
Oh yeah.
And then maybe A not so
There's
much.
a
But
zero sandbag for me. Zero sandbags. Awful, awful Raw. You texted me and you were like, I haven't even watched it. Like, we'll have to do this at a later date. And I was like, don't worry, you'll be done in 30 minutes. There's nothing to watch. You're like, is the Punk segment at least good? I'm just like, he's on it for 2 minutes. So I guess we'll see what happens. I'm hoping SmackDown will be good. More Fatu, more LA Knight, more Roman, more Punk, more Braun. I guess I'll
or
tune in to
Ray,
see what Ray Mysterio on
Phoenix,
SmackDown? Oh,
Phoenix,
Phoenix.
the
Yeah, that's
new
right.
Ray. Yeah,
Yeah. And maybe I'll tune in to see what happens with Charlotte and Tiffany as well now that all this drama's been going on.
it's shaping
I
up
mean,
to be a better show.
I always like Drew, but I'm just not interested in Damian Priest. So
Yeah.
they're kind of ruining Drew for me at Mania, which also is really disappointed. I could have gone for Drew and Cody and I wouldn't have been upset. That would have been a sick feud. So anyway, yeah, overall, very disappointing. Zero sandbags on Raw. And I don't know if the viewers agree with me or not, but let us know. Do you think I'm crazy? Tell me. Leave it in the comments,
All right. Thanks, everyone.
guys.
See ya.